Привет, друзі.
Hello, Josebo.
Bonjour, and welcome to Planet of the Climates. POTK is a KlimaDAO podcast bringing you the latest information and insight into the world of climate action. Klima is a blockchain protocol backed by carbon credits that gives people a chance to fight climate change as a collective and get rewarded for doing so. Klima sits at the intersection of blockchain, climate science, and finance, so there's no shortage of great topics for us to explore together. My name's Phaedrus, and I'll be your host on this adventure. I'm joined by my good friends and co-hosts Reg and Diamond Hands as we
discuss the latest Klima news,
Drop some occasional alpha,
and connect you with the biggest and brightest names currently exploring this space. So today, Reg is unable to join us, unfortunately, but Diamond Hands and I are excited to be chatting with Akshay and Michael. Let's just jump right into this chat. So Akshay and Michael are from LI.FI and Etherspot, respectively. LI.FI positions itself as the ultimate cross-chain liquidity aggregator, while Etherspot is an innovative multi-chain smart wallet platform. We'll undoubtedly take some time to unpack and learn more about just what their organizations are all about and take a close look at their collaboration and partnership with Klima. But to get us started, perhaps Akshay, let's get to know about you. Can you tell us a little bit about your story, your background, and maybe your experience with cryptocurrencies?
Yeah, no, of course. Thanks for doing this. Hi, I'm Akshay. I come from India and I'm an engineer by profession. So I'm a techie who got into cryptocurrencies. I got into cryptocurrencies in 2018. I gave a presentation to my university about Bitcoin, but sadly, I didn't actually buy any Bitcoin until 2020. So, and I started listening to podcasts, reading about Web3 this LI.FI summer. So I got into cryptocurrency Web3 and I started doing hackathons because I was a coder, I'm a Solidity developer as well. And later on, just while exploring, I came across bridges. Also reading about Uniswap and AMMs, I thought of some ideas on how we can actually have AMMs between blockchains. And of course, that had already been done. So there were already a lot of bridges in the market when I learned about bridges. And I used LI.FI, but my funds kind of got stuck in between. So I DM'd the founder, Philip, about this, and he told me to go ask in server. And I also saw that they were hiring. So I just thought, why not? Let me just DM this guy again. And yeah, I DM'd him my whole resume, my whole life story so far. And we just got on a call. And later on, I just joined LI.FI after a few days. I have been part of multiple roles. I have done my biz dev, I have done content strategy, as well as a bit of coding as well. But currently I head business development at LI.FI. Also think about crazy ideas, how we can actually connect this multi-chain world.
Well, that's excellent. Great to hear about your background in engineering as a developer and with LI.FI there too. And I think that's, definitely fortuitous right now. We'll talk about the connection with Klima here. But how about Michael, for yourself from Etherspot? What's your background or your story, your journey?
Yeah, my journey. I'm a touch older than Akshay. So I've been around a bit. And most of my career, I have worked in the City of London, which is the financial hub, basically with financial institutions, investment banks, doing the technology/finance side. So I was a developer, but on a highly financial systems like risk management, market data. So I pretty much was a fintech guy before fintech was popular. Then in 2017, I was involved in one of the earlier ICOs, which is Pillar Project. And we went through and raised funds, and we have a Pillar wallet. And out of that, then we decided to have a smart contract based wallet, and we created that. And in fact, in 2018, we created one of the first layer 2 sort of communications within a wallet where any user did not have to pay for gas as long as they use our wallets. And that ultimately led to the creation of Etherspot. Because we went through this experience and that specific innovation we created, it didn't catch on, but we iterated on it, and it ended up being Etherspot in basically around late 2019, early 2020. And now Etherspot is a brand product from within the Pillar ecosystem, and we're pushing on with it as a platform that can benefit not just our wallet but the whole ecosystem, because it is quite useful for cross-bridge communications and transfers of assets and a whole lot more, which I will delve into a little bit later.
Oh, for sure.
Thank you, Michael, for sharing your background and your story. Maybe both of you can share with us a little bit more about like LI.FI and Etherspot. Like, what's the mission, the key activities, or the biggest achievements or accomplishments that you have to date? Or maybe I'll start with Akshay first.
Yeah, so LI.FI, we started as a abstraction layer on top of blockchains because there were no aggregators. There were like a few bridges that were in the market and DEXs. But the thing is that for a person who wants to swap, let's say, Ohm on Ethereum to Klima on Polygon, right, they would have to go to multiple websites and bridges and knowing which DEXs to use as well, right? So this is a user experience problem. So that's the first problem that we wanted to solve. So we wanted to be a DEX and bridge aggregator, which helps users in moving liquidity from any blockchain to any blockchain in the best route possible. So we currently have several bridges and DEXs integrated inside LI.FI, and we connect around 15 chains. So we kind of live on top of this several blockchains, and we help users connect these blockchains. So we are an abstraction layer on top of blockchains, and we aim to make this whole multi-chain world as seamless as possible for the Web3 users by abstracting away all these nuances in different bridges and DEXs. So coming back to our biggest accomplishments, I think the first biggest integration that we have had is TreasureDAO, which is in Arbitrum, and they integrated our widget so that any user could swap from any chain to Magic on Arbitrum to buy NFTs on their marketplace.
Like for going cross-chain is always something that most protocols hope to achieve, but you just made it that much easier for everyone to do that.
Many projects have to go cross-chain. It's not like this. It's a choice for them. So it's like a necessity for them.
Wow, that's actually amazing. How about you, Michael? Like, what do you think was the biggest achievement for LI.FI and Etherspot?
For LI.FI, Etherspot together, because we started collaborating recently. And first of all, if I come back to what our mission is, it is pretty much complementary to what Akshay said in terms of LI.FI, in that we want to make seamless user experience to anyone. Just because a user is going from one sidechain to another one, they would not have to go through hoops and know the implementation details on how to do it. If I give you an example, it is like Twitter saying to us, if you want to upload a picture, use our Oracle database from the drop-down menu. Oh, but if you want to follow someone, it's easy. Use our SQL server. Oh, you want to retweet? It is simple. Use our MySQL server. That's the sort of setup the Web3 has at the moment. Users are expected to know implementation details of whether one investment opportunity is on Avalanche or Polygon or Phantom. I am expected to know that. So through these collaborations and integrations, what we are trying to achieve is a seamless experience for the user. A user is interested maybe in a financial opportunity or in a regenerative finance participation. So let's make that easy for them. So that is the whole aim. And when with the bridging aggregator solution that LI.FI have, they bring the asset from one side chain to the other one. Then our part is to make that even simpler and seamless, and ensuring that the user does not need to bother about the gas token that they have to use on that destination platform. And if there are multiple stages involved in buying the asset to stake, staking it, then even going after staking it, getting the stake token, putting it in another book. All those things can be abstracted away using the smart contract, the infrastructure we have, the smart wallet, by creating a batch, a mechanism to bundle all the transactions in one so that the user would have a seamless experience. So, in terms of our achievement so far, Etherspot has been going for nearly 2 years, and it has been integrated with the Pillar wallet with thousands of users. And I cannot stress highly enough the visibility and the importance of what we have created, Finance, Etherspot, and KlimaDAO, what we have created together as well. That should be highlighted.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I think, just removing that friction, I think so many of us in our crypto journeys, you just go through that massive learning curve. And then as you were pointing out there, when you want to go after, opportunities, or there's other projects that you're interested in that happen to be on a different chain, then the onus is on you to figure all of that out and to do that. But it sounds like what you're doing is really, eliminating that friction and making things so much easier. You did kind of lean into one of our next questions here too. So you talked about LI.FI and Etherspot connecting, being kind of a revolution, and then, tapping things into Klima here. So a toss up for either of you, Michael or Akshay. When did you first connect with Klima, or when did you first hear about Klima?
If I take this one, maybe. It is one of my, because once we started collaborating together with LI.FI, and we said which project best benefits from the initial showcase that we can do. And once we decided, let's go with Klima, and the rest is history. So maybe Akshay could add a lot more to this.
Yeah, and of course. So we wanted to look for a project which requires staking on a particular chain, but they were not actually multi-chain yet, right? So the first realization was that Klima is one of the best projects, because a user would have to stake their Klima into the Klima staking wallet, Klima staking smart contract, to be able to use Klima. But later on, we expanded that into multiple use cases inside Klima as well.
Excellent. Yeah, we definitely appreciate that connection there. And I know in terms of our Klima project, growing cross-chain was always a long-term thing, or something that we're ambitious about in the long run. And then suddenly with this partnership, that problem got solved very quickly. So did you want to maybe explain a little bit more about how this is possible? Because as a project, as a protocol, going cross-chain was always about, taking our liquidity cross-chain, and suddenly we don't have to do that, right?
Yeah. For example, in Klima's case, Klima would have to have deployed their smart contracts on other chains for people to be able to offset their carbon on that particular chain, right? So that's a lot of work for Klima, and it just divides or fragments the liquidity of Klima across different chains. So there are two ways for a project to go cross-chain, right? So by actually deploying the smart contracts on multiple chains, or just instead of that, they can use Etherspot and LI.FI to just attract the users from attract the liquidity from any of the chains to the chain that they are deployed on. So that's actually one of the biggest realizations that we've had while working with Klima. And that's why we believe that cross-chain is important, but they don't have to go cross-chain in a traditional manner. Instead, they can bring the liquidity to their chain through us.
It is a paradigm shift. And just to break down the journey, imagine as a user, you have some AVAX and you really were desperate to say, let me do my carbon offset. And I've heard of Klima, so I can go and do some Klima. Then when you try to do it, you discover that Klima is on Polygon. So, I see. In that case, okay, I have to bridge my token. And let's say you've used Finance as an aggregate and you bridged it. Then you have a bridged USDC. Then you find out, I need to get me some native token to pay for the gas. So let me get me some Matic. Then as soon as you do that, I have to get me some Klima as well because I have to stake it. Then you stake the Klima. By the time you're done, you'd have made something like 9 signatures. So you must really, really want to do this carbon offsetting. Otherwise, you might just stop halfway through or get distracted and do something else. So that's what we are offering here. with this joint effort, you still go and bridge the token. As soon as it is bridged, we take care of everything else for you as a user. I think you end up with 2 or 3 signatures instead of 9. So it is the ease of use in bringing liquidity from any side chain to any side chain.
Yeah, that sounds really, really good. I think you really hit the nail on the head in the sense whereby, I kind of just crossed my first year like full time into crypto. And it's always a hassle to understanding like, oh, which bridge should I use with your project. I mean, between the combination of LI.FI and Ether, you get that sorted out. It's very easy for someone to say, hey, you know what, you don't have to worry about that, let us do the worry for you. Which brings me to my next question, actually. Have all the features and functionality being rolled out now? Or is this something that we expect to see, in the long run or maybe down the road?
Yeah, so far we have, for Klima particularly, so we started with helping users stake the Klima from any chain to Klima on Polygon. But later on, when we spoke to Archimedes from Klima, he gave us another use case, which is offsetting carbon from any chain to Klima. But so far for Klima, those are the two primary use cases. We already have staking, but like offsetting is something that's under testing right now. But like, since we love Klima, we are gonna be helping Klima in any of the future use cases that they might have.
Yeah. So right now you're saying that for Klima itself, we are actually working on the feature whereby you can actually offset from any chain itself, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow, cool. You guys are very adaptive, which means that if any protocol comes to you and say, hey, I want to do something that is cross-chain, I want to have this functionality, you can actually work with them to create that system for them, is it?
100%.
I think this is something that I really, really appreciate, because like I think in the Web3 space itself, like collaborative, it's really key for us to grow and flourish.
To get the Web3 ecosystem as effective and as flourishing as possible, we all have to complement each other. There is a whole lot more we have to do to make Web3 feel like Web2 in terms of usability. It would never be like Web2 because there is a self-sovereignty angle. At the same time, we could make it as useful as possible for the normies, the newcomers to join, and even take them through a progressive decentralization aspect. In time, they will be completely decentralized, but we have to get them started. And by collaborating and making things easier, that's the only way we can cross that chasm. And even better, anyone can access this service from any key-based wallet. Say, if you're using your MetaMask, you go through this process. As soon as the funds are bridged and they're sent to your smart wallet, your key wallet controls your smart wallet. So again, it is decentralized. It is self-sovereign. You control your assets. So when these things are being batched for you, it is you and only you who has control over them.
Yeah, a little, segue there, because you did refer earlier to the fact that Klima was kind of a great use case for you with our staking and stake Klima. And then we got that little bit of alpha from you that we could be looking at cross-chain carbon asset retirement, carbon token retirement as well too. So, Klima is on a mission to tackle climate change. And I'm curious, what makes climate action so important for you at LI.FI or for you at Etherspot, Akshay and Michael? And how do you hope to see, this collaborative action really accelerate action on climate change?
And of course, so multi-chain is kind of climate friendly, right? Because one chain can't actually scale for the whole world. So for a single chain to scale for the whole world, you need like huge servers and huge costs to run this validator networks. So since we believe in the multi-chain future, it's better for the climate than a single chain running the whole Web3 system. And at LI.FI, we want to help the climate in whichever way possible, for sure.
Excellent. I mean, it's already a part of your, this cross-chain, multi-chain functionality where you're making efficiencies with regards to, protocols or projects liquidity and all of that. And you just really pointed to that efficiency from an energy use standpoint as well too, right? I'd be thrilled or curious, like if there were ways to quantify that, demonstrate that. Is that something that you've looked into, or?
I think that's going to be a super interesting use case we can actually look into, because Ethereum is also going from proof of work to proof of stake. And Ethereum is going to have so many L2 chains, which are run only the sequences which are energy efficient compared to running your own chains or running your own validators, right? So since we also believe in the multi-chain future with L2 chains as well as side chains, like this proof of stake system abstracts of all the need for running these validator networks. I think that's going to be like much more energy efficient, but I think it's a use case we should actually explore. Like, for example, we can compare this to something like Solana, right? So Solana needs to run on huge machines, and Solana has only like 1,000 validators because Solana can't actually like be run on 10,000 or like 15,000 validators. For that, it's going to be super expensive for people to run. Although I love Solana, I hold Solana as well. I'm sure they're going to figure this out in the future. But yeah, so we can actually compare how exactly this multi-chain future is going to be more energy efficient for the whole ecosystem.
That's excellent, because I just know that, that narrative out there around Bitcoin, around Ethereum, around the energy and greenhouse gas intensity of these blockchain activities is just so top of mind for people who aren't in crypto right now, or top of mind for people who are on the fence about whether or not, blockchain technologies can be a part of a solution for climate change. It's just great to realize there's that energy efficiency and hardware efficiency and all of that with what you're bringing here too.
For me, I looked at it from the concept point of view as well. What I mean by that is, if, say, the ICO times were bootstrapping for companies, and then the NFT state was bringing artists and creatives into the ecosystem and bootstrapping them, Regen Finance then took it to another level. Why I say that is, if you look at DeFi, it is a purely capitalist construct. I put in money, I gain money in general. So using those constructs, then an environmentally conscious concept building on top of those decentralized but financial capitalist instruments, building something which is environmentally conscious, which can be accessed by a lot more people and in a fast and efficient way. As a concept, I was blown away, and I'm grateful for you guys for going through this and creating such a platform. And us taking part in this as well, in helping with the efficiency, I think is great for all of us being involved in here. So, yes, we would love to see how we can quantify the efficiency created, but it is easy for anyone to observe that by being able to get liquidity from any other side chain to where you offset your carbon is a good way to start.
Likewise, definitely. This is something really amazing. I think, like, I really love how the way you guys wrap it up, in terms of like how we are able to use this cross-chain functionality to even do cross-chain, offset, and all the chains will be able to be carbon neutral eventually, which is something really, really amazing. So, of course, this goes to my next question. I'm just wondering, is there any other news or alphas you can share with our audience?
For LI.FI and Etherspot, we are closely working together to build a product which can actually be integrated into any of these DeFi projects so that they can actually move liquidity from any of the chains to their chain. But LI.FI and Etherspot, like, it's like a perfect combination for us and for the DeFi space as well. That it's great that we're actually working together, and we're gonna build something that's gonna abstract away everything that you're gonna do in the DeFi.
Imagine if you had a dashboard or a single view where you have all the DeFi deals from all the side chains displayed in there. And when you select, say, the one in Phantom, and you have no Phantom, but a dialog box comes up and says to you, you have funds in XYZ side chains, and the optimum route for you is this one and this one. So taking these funds, and you just click OK. And those funds are directly going to that Phantom. So as a user, you're not really asked to know the implementation details. You've come in to make an investment. You've just clicked on a button and you've invested. Almost an eBay-like dashboard you will have for all the things that you want to execute. and extend that then to non-EVM chains as well. So finding all the deals. If it is a regenerative finance you want, you would have the dashboard to do that. DeFi, you'd have the dashboard to do that. But you're not asked to change your connection. So, oh, you're on the wrong network. So please change your wallet connection. None of those. And on the other side, again, seamless bridging of those assets and execution. That is what we're working towards.
It's really amazing. I really looking forward. Like, I enjoy how you guys are really working closely with us, making sure that we are able to bring our vision and mission across different chains to make sure that offset will be a lot easier for anybody on any particular chain.
Your compliments are humbling, very humbling. And I'm in awe of you guys, seriously, for bringing regen finance on top of the DeFi world and using those existing constructs and showing us, hang on a minute, you can do an environmentally beneficial thing more than just the capitalist angle as well. So I'm really in awe of you guys for doing that.
And of course, so I definitely love what Klima is doing, for sure, because so many projects or so many teams, organizations just like work on climate activists, but Klima is actually building a solution which actually helps and actually fights the climate change. Yeah, we're grateful for what you guys are building on chain.
Oh, that's beautiful. We're glad for this partnership, that's for sure.
This partnership has been an eye-opener for all of us in that, yes, we know of carbon offsets. Yes, we know that every company has carbon footprints, but we didn't really articulate it before we started working with you guys and started thinking about it. How about me as an individual? What is my carbon footprint? How about the company I work with and I work for? So it has made us think and reflect from all of us involved. So this is something we would like to take further and hopefully get involved at some point, without any doubt.
In my ultimate vision of Klima is that it's so easy that a click of a button, tick of a box, and you are able to really just offset just like that, instead of need to calculate, because all things are done before you. It's easy for anyone to just do that. And with this partnership with LI.FI and Etherspot, I think this just make one step so much closer to having that coming into fruition.
We're excited, and we're excited for the partnership with all the three of us, and the fact that you guys were keen in engaging with us when we reached out to you from your Discord ticketing system, for actually being able to see what we were proposing and getting the benefit straight away. And it all led to a quick turnaround, and we are very excited, very excited.
Thanks for your time today, guys. I think that's covered it for sure.
We really appreciate you guys having your time dedicated to us and having this discussion with us. Thank you very much.
Thanks for this, guys.
Wow, definitely a great conversation. It was awesome to chat with Akshay and Michael to learn more about the benefits of taking Klima cross-chain, multi-chain. I don't know about you, Diamond Hands, but I was really struck by, that kind of secondary benefit, or, it's not just a transactional efficiency. There is also energy efficiency and equipment efficiency and all of that too. And I think it's just, doubly efficient to kind of reduce this friction, reduce the barriers through, taking Klima cross-chain, but it's also, much more environmentally efficient and environmentally effective too on our mission here and helping to tackle the climate crisis. So yeah, did you have any key takeaways from that conversation?
Yep, I think just like during the show itself, I did share that the key thing is that they really embracing the collaborative spirit of Web3. And they're really working closely with us. This is something that I really, really happy about and really excited that we are able to do cross-chain without having liquidity issue. And LI.FI just made it easy for everyone and anyone. In fact, whether you are crypto degen or you're new to crypto, it's just that easy for you to just from mainnet to buying Klima to even eventually doing offsets. It's just that easy.
Yeah, excellent. Definitely agree with that. So for everything Klima, make sure you're hitting up KlimaDAO.finance, where you can stake bond, check out our community with our blog and our resources, and you can also find a link to our Discord community. Because we're a DAO, a decentralized autonomous organization, Klima is community-driven just like this podcast. So join us and you're going to find a great group of Climates and plenty of opportunities to be an active Climate too. We hope you enjoyed this conversation with Akshay and Michael. Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to saying hello once again on the very next Planet of the Climates.